We've taken every team in the top 5 leagues in Europe and put them on this beautiful YouTube wheel thing. And we're gonna fill up every league with a randomly selected team from this list, starting with the Premier League. Marseille! Welcome to the Prem. Happy to have you, I guess. Only 95 to go. And then we're gonna simulate the entire season, of course. We will be calculating which league does the best to give them the honorary Congrats Your League Doesn't Suck trophy. Whatever the editors have decided to design it as is what we're gonna roll with. Joining Marseille in the Premier League will be... Real Madrid. Of course they would luck into the serious amount of money in the Prem. Southampton. They can't escape their own misery. Mallorca. So just to get this straight, Real Madrid's looking at Southampton, Mallorca, and Marseille as its Premier League opposition so far. That's great. Fulham. I wonder if the English teams are going to get some sort of home advantage in the Prem. Athletic Bilbao. Lecce. Finally, we've got some Italian representation. We still don't have a German team. Inter. Oh, Real Madrid and Inter in the same league. The Prem, no less. Celta Vigo, that was close. Lille. Nottingham Forest. All right. Valladolid. I'm getting kind of uncomfortable with how little we're getting German teams right now. But that's the worst team in Spain. Arsenal's staying home in the Prem. Reims. Finally, we got one German team. It's Augsburg. And Strasbourg. Sounds German, is French. Leicester City is staying home. All right. Osasuna. We're getting a lot of Spanish teams. Timothy Chalamet's team, Saint Etienne. And the last team to make up the Premier League is Espanyol. One German team the entire time. Real Madrid's bringing all of its old punching bags. That's 7 of the 20 Premier League teams from the Spanish League alone, with 5 more teams coming from England. Leicester City, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Southampton. And when you look at this Premier League, there aren't as many big teams in there that could win it as there would normally be. There's Real Madrid, there's Inter, there's Arsenal, and then who else? Lille? Athletic Bilbao? Marseille, I guess, has a chance. But can they do it on a cold, rainy night at Espanyol? Don't know. We'll find out. Next league. Since all the Spanish teams want to go so much, we'll just do La Liga next. Who's joining La Liga? Oh, Real Madrid, so. Angers. Good number of French teams coming off the board. Oh! Brest! I wonder if they'll send me one of those jerseys like Micah Richards. Leipzig, Mainz. Now we're in a German team run. Okay, there we go. We're getting big teams. Chelsea, Brentford. We got all these Spanish teams. We haven't had one Spanish team get picked for La Liga yet. Hoffenheim. Oh, Monza. Last place team in Serie A right now. Oh, staying Italian. Como. The wheel is starting to thin out a little bit. Roma. Oh my goodness. Everybody says La Liga is the new Serie A. Man City. Oh, brother. You've got Leipzig, you've got Villa, Chelsea, Man City. Pretty balanced looking league, honestly. And it's finally got a Spanish team. Getafe, Atlanta. Yeah, it is one of my favorite cities in the United States. So, Las Palmas. Finally, Spanish teams in La Liga. Hellas Verona. There's still some big teams on the board. Liverpool, Bayern Munich, PSG. They don't have a home yet. Could ruin one of these clubs' days. Werder Bremen. Crystal Palace is headed to La Liga. Okay, Toulouse and Nice. Nice. That rounds out La Liga with a couple of French teams, but this is so easy for Man City. Was I bribed? I might have been bribed. I mean, it's Man City, Chelsea, Leipzig, Aston Villa, Atalanta, I guess, could be a bit of a problem. Very balanced, though. There isn't one league that ended up with a ton of teams in La Liga. There just aren't a ton of good teams in La Liga. So it's time for the Bundesliga next, and this time, of course, we're only drafting 18 teams. So this is like the cool kids club. Let a few less people in here. Maybe you could get a really easy league, but it starts with AC Milan. So I'm gonna go with no. And technically one of these leagues could be borderline impossible. Alaves, Montpellier. Oh, the worst team in Germany is off the board. It's Bochum. Empoli. It's a very soft start again. One of these leagues is gonna be a hell. St. Pauli. Lens. And they're an above average team in the French league. Real Betis. Napoli. Now we've got the league leaders in Italy joining AC Milan in the Bundesliga. Brighton, there's a little sleeper. Torino, how many Italian clubs are going to be in here? Oh, baby. We're heating up now. Atletico Madrid. Ipswich is going to the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen. This league's getting quite hard, actually. No, now it's got PSG in it. What? Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and PSG in 3 of the last 4 spins. You have Brighton. You have Napoli. You have AC Milan. Sevilla's in there. Just rename it to the Europa League. They'll be fine. Oh, just missed Juventus. And our last Bundesliga team. Oh, it's Liverpool. Woo! That Bundesliga is going to be some good viewing. Great variety of big clubs from different countries. And now we head to Serie A. 38 teams left on our wheel that started with 96. Let's get it. Nons. Interesting. Venezia. Valencia. Secretly having a terrible season right now. The Real Sociedad. There's some big clubs still left on the board. Obviously, Manchester United and Tottenham. Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund are still looking for a home. Barcelona, Juventus. But will they be headed to Italy or France? Well, Juventus is headed to Italy, so we're headed home. Home field advantage, Juventus. Stade Rennais. Barcelona's going. So's Bournemouth. Hey, they're dangerous. Leganes. Oh, it's Manchester United. We'll see what they got. You know, it's Juventus, it's Barcelona, it's Serie A football right here. Cagliari, Freiburg, Eintracht Frankfurt, Stuttgart. Frankfurt and Stuttgart are both 2 spoiler candidates. Oh, it's Newcastle. It was nearly Bayern. Tottenham? Hello. All of a sudden, this league is starting to look a little tough. No bad teams recently. And then Bayern, no way. Oh, there's almost no good teams left. They're all in this league. Who's getting offered up for the slaughter? It's Auxerre. There's 2 more teams that could end up in this brutal league. If not, they go in a much easier league. It's Everton. Of course. And the final team that's getting screwed, Parma. Oh, my favorite cheese. And that means we only have 1 league left, which is Ligue 1, which would be West Ham, Wolves, Wolfsburg, love that from all of them, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Borussia Dortmund, Union Berlin, Heidenheim, Holstein Kiel, Villarreal, Rayo Vallecano, Girona, Lazio, Bologna, Udinese, Genoa, Monaco, Lyon, and Le Havre. That is definitely the worst league. But it's time to load them into the game. You ready? The leagues are ready. Pay attention. Our season preview of the Premier League has Real Madrid 4-6 odds to win with Arsenal, and then Inter, wonderfully renamed Blue Neri by Football Manager, Athletic Club Marseille, and Celta Vigo, the only other teams making it inside 100-1. Saint Etienne is 600-1 and a huge relegation favorite. In France, Dortmund is actually the favorite to win the whole league. But since we probably know that's not going to happen, we see Lazio, Villarreal, West Ham, and Monaco are all in the top 5. Lyon, Wolves, Girona, Wolfsburg, Bologna. But all the way down in 18th, we've got Holstein Kiel, who are 1,000-1 to win the French league this season. In Serie A, it is all about Bayern Munich. They're 2-1 to win the league, but Barcelona's 13-5, Newcastle's 4-1, United, Juventus, Tottenham, and Real Sociedad are all inside 25-1. The bottom is Alger and Venezia, who are both 2,000-1 to win Serie A. It's a juiced league. Leganes is 1,000-1. Parma and Cagliari are all at least 500-1 to win the league. I think there could be some separation in here. The Bundesliga's got Liverpool at 7-5, PSG at 10-3, Atletico de Madrid at 15-2, with AC Milan, Napoli, and Bayer Leverkusen all within 25-1. And basically everybody's still kind of in striking distance until you get all the way down to St. Pauli, who is at 2,000-1 to win the league down at the bottom. La Liga's got Man City as 4-9 to win. The second best odds are 9-1 for Chelsea. Then you have Roma, Leipzig, and Atalanta all in kind of striking distance. But it's one of the closer leagues. The worst odds on any team is Como. They're 600-1. Let the games begin. We start in the French league, and things are not going according to plan at all. Wolves is top of the league after 9 matches in France with 22 points to its name. Thanks a lot to Pablo Sarabia, who's second in the league in goals. He's balling out. Bologna is in second, and Mönchengladbach is in third. On the flip side, shout out to Holstein Kiel. They're on 6 points after 9 matches. Believe in miracles. They're ahead of West Ham and Le Havre. Also, you're going to see these little emblems off to the side. Because we rearranged so many teams, Europe is a mess, so we're not paying attention to Europe at all. But a huge shout out to the FM editor who helps this channel out with a ton of different things when it comes to editing databases and stuff. Their Twitter's in the description. You can check out all of the fun things they're working on to make your FM better. In Serie A, the absolutely loaded top of the league is cooking with Barcelona on 20, Bayern Munich on 19, and Freiburg on 18. What the hell are you doing here? Manchester United and Valencia are also there. Tottenham is falling behind a little bit, but Juventus is in 7th, out ahead of them. Maybe the biggest surprise, though, Venezia's managed 9 points from his first 8 matches, so from 2001 to believe in the dream, brother. Huge disappointment from Bournemouth and Newcastle, who are in 14th and 15th with Angers, Leganés, and Nantes. Nantes has 2 points. In the Bundesliga, only 7 matches have been played, but AC Milan tops the league with 17 points. I don't know why everybody was assuming they weren't going to be good. Liverpool and PSG do not like playing in Germany. They are not having a good time. They're in 5th and 6th. Alaves is pulling off one of the most surprising starts to the season anywhere. They're currently in the top 4 in the Bundesliga. St. Pauli, on the other hand, is living up to its expectation with a 2-point performance in its first 7 matches, even though, well, it's playing at home. But how about Ipswich? All the way up in 11th, they're ahead of Sevilla, Napoli, Lens. That's good. Also, Lens, you doing? In La Liga, things are going according to plan. Man City has 8 wins from 9. They're on 25 points. But Aston Villa is the number 1 chase team. Chelsea has 14 points. They just can't help themselves, can they? Monza's putting together a good performance. They're in 11th. And RB Leipzig slipped up to 3rd because I feel like they're always 3rd to 6th in whatever the league they're in. Anywhere. But maybe the player of the first part of the season is Moussa Diaby. He has 12 goals in 9 matches for Villa. But I'll be honest, they've had a very easy schedule so far. Their losses are to probably the 2 best teams they've played, Roma and Werder Bremen. And finally in the Premier League, where things are ridiculously spicy, Real Madrid has 19, and so does Inter. But the pursuit clubs, Strasbourg and Real Valladolid. Real Valladolid is the bottom team in La Liga in real life. They are on 17 points after 8 matches. Athletic Bilbao is in the conversation with Iñaki Williams leading the league in goals after 8. Arsenal's barely scrapping to survival, and Lille is also only 3 points off the top in 7th. Southampton's come alive though. They have 14 points. Leicester only has 1, which is the worst performance of any team at this point in the season. They've lost to Marseille, Nottingham Forest, Real Madrid, Inter, Fulham, Athletic Club, and Southampton. You know, maybe they've got an easier schedule coming up. We'll cut them some slack. And let's see. Well, bad news, Leicester fans. I was wrong. Still just 2 wins against Espanyol and Osasuna. But the remarkable thing is, well, that is good enough to not be in the relegation zone because Lecce, Espanyol, and stunningly, Celta Vigo, who is supposed to be one of the top competitors for the league, are in the relegation zone in the Prim. Saint Etienne, Timothy Chalamet's favorite team, they're actually doing all right. They're at 21 points. They were supposed to be dead last. But Real Madrid is not running high. Inter's top of the league with 48, and Arsenal has had a remarkable stretch of just absolutely ripping out wins until, they didn't and got knocked out of the League Cup quarterfinal by Nottingham Forest. Real Madrid does have a match at hand, though, which if they are able to win, they would then go back onto the top of the league. But we're looking at a potentially sensational run of matches. We head south to France, and there we find Dortmund on 38 points at the top of the league, but this incredibly weak collection of teams continues to battle it out, and somehow West Ham's not able to do anything. Le Havre's on 7 points. They're having an absolute mare and having a terrible time. But other teams that were supposed to be bad, like Holstein Kiel's not in the relegation zone right now. Heidenheim's all the way up in 9th. Lyon's down in 14th. They're only 11 points out of UCL. This whole league is just, tied together. Lazio is supposed to be good. They're in 8th. The leading goal scorer in the entire league is Tim Kleindienst. So that unlocks the success of Heidenheim. As we zip over to Serie A, the next 12 matches have been incredibly kind to Tottenham. Tottenham Hotspur has gone top of the league. They have still only lost 1 match. They are ahead of Bayern Munich. They are ahead of Barcelona. They are ahead of Manchester United, Stuttgart, Eintracht Frankfurt, Valencia, Juventus, Newcastle. Nope. It's Tottenham. All they needed to do was move to Italy. Honestly, I feel like that would solve a lot of the problems in my life too, so that's a solid move. And there isn't much of a chase pack on this one either. There are only 2 teams within 10 points, and that's Bayern and United. Barcelona's off the pace, Juventus is off the pace, and Newcastle's turned it around enough, but they still suck. Angers got 5 points, Leganés has got 7, so those teams that everybody expected to get killed are getting killed. And Venezia has crashed back down to earth with 12 points from 19. But the leading goal scorer of Serie A, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, baby. Don't sleep on Everton. How about the Bundesliga? Liverpool has recovered to go top of the league after 17 matches, halfway through. And Fiorentina, who we didn't even mention the first time we looked at this, they're in second. Leverkusen's in third. AC Milan, oh yeah, Alaves, for some reason, 4 points ahead of PSG. And they, of course, have already played in the league. Alaves beat them 3-1 on a couple of goals from Alex Sola. Watch out, world. St. Pauli's tried to make a charge up there in 10th, ahead of Empoli, who only with a minus 19 goal difference, which is crazy considering they've lost 14 matches. That's insanely low. They've lost basically every match they've lost by 1 goal. But they're on 7 points. And now Montpellier, Ipswich, Sevilla, and surprisingly, Lens are battling for a relegation spot. Kylian Mbappe leads the league in goals with 11 while he's still at PSG. Thanks, Football Manager 24. It's almost like a new FM's supposed to be out by now. No, that doesn't make any sense. It sounds right. Checking in on La Liga, Manchester City. Doing very un-Manchester City things considering this year, but they did lose 1 match at Aston Villa, who's in third. Leipzig's in second, and remarkably, Crystal Palace, loving the change of scenery, has played its way into a Champions League position so far. Chelsea's up into 7th with Nice right behind them. Brentford's doing okay in 10th, keeping a record of no English teams currently in a relegation zone. And then there's Angers, Hellas Verona, and Como rounding out the bottom. Pit stop 3, and we're headed to Ligue 1 with 6 matches left to play. Unbelievably, a Ligue 1 club looks like it might win a league. And it's not PSG, it's Monaco. They are running front of Ligue 1 with 6 matches to play. Le Havre is definitely getting relegated. They finished with just 12 points. Well, not finished, but they might. And West Ham is in 17th, dude. They're gotten worse. Holstein Kiel's in the relegation playoff spot. They're trying to hang on. With other teams that aren't safe yet, like Rayo Vallecano, Genoa, Girona, and Lyon, I guess, mathematically, still somehow. Wolves, after their amazing start, has fallen all the way back to 10th. Heidenheim has climbed to 8th. Lazio sits all the way down in 7th. And Wolfsburg and Bologna are sizing up a top 4 finish. Dortmund just can't help bottling it, though. The leading scorer is Artem Dovbyk from Girona, who has 19. In Serie A, oh, baby, it's Tottenham. What the hell? Tottenham's on 79 points after 31 matches. They are flying. Their only losses are both matches against Bayern Munich, which, all right. And their draws are at home against United, at Everton, at home against Stade Rennais, and Cagliari on the road. Every other match is a win. Look at how much they're scoring. Rodrigo Bentancur leads the entire league in average rating. James Maddison is second in assists, and Heung-min Son is third in goals. Vlahovic leads, but he's in 8th, playing in their home league. They're the highest Italian team in their home league in 8th. Barcelona's also in 6th. They're having a terrible time. So is Newcastle in 10th. But nobody's as bad as Angers, who has 8 points after 31 matches. Leganés has 13 with a minus 61 goal difference, and Venezia at long last has fallen all the way down to 18th. In the Bundesliga, Liverpool is not running away with it. It's AC Milan. They might be the only hope for the Italian league here. They're on 63 points, with Liverpool the only team near them with 6 matches to play. Kylian Mbappe's 17 goals, one last gasp for PSG, has them up in 3rd with 52, but they're tied with Atletico Madrid and Bayer Leverkusen battling for a Champions League spot. Alaves has fallen down to 8th, but that's still a tremendous season for them. Lens has rebounded up to 9th, and Montpellier has fallen to the bottom of the league as St. Pauli and Empoli try desperately to catch Sevilla. I don't know what they're doing down there. Ipswich and Real Betis are basically safe. So good for them. Shout out to Bochum, by the way. Didn't think they were going to be good at all. They're in 11th. They're doing fine. They're taking advantage of being in their home league. La Liga's standard operating. Before we look at this league, you have to subscribe to unlock it. My God, look at this guy. Is he a YouTuber or what? This is crazy. Anyways, Man City's got an 8-point lead over Aston Villa, who's slipped up into 2nd. Chelsea's trying to backdoor a top 4 position, and England's got 4 of the top 5 spots in this league, with Crystal Palace holding down 5th. Brentford's really blowing it. They're down in 12th. The bottom couple have been the same. It's Como, Angers, and Hellas Verona, with Toulouse, Getafe, Las Palmas, and Monza all in the conversation. Monza's been sliding consistently. Moussa Diaby still leads the league with 20 23 goals, but it's Luis Apenda from Leipzig that leads the league in average rating. And finally, we head to the Premier League where Italy's looking for 2. Inter is in first. They've pulled away from Arsenal. So is Real Madrid, though. They're only 3 points behind with a plus 66 goal difference. Vinny Jr.'s got 20 goals, and so does Lautaro. Odegaard's third with 15. But perhaps the most surprising result anywhere, a true competitor for a top 4 finish, Real Valladolid, who is last in La Liga in real life, is in 4th. And a team that was projected to get a European finish, Celta Vigo, is in 18th. Saint Etienne is hanging on as the team that was supposed to finish last. Lecce and Espanyol seem doomed. Also, Leicester, definitely not safe. Lille in 12th is pretty disappointing for the French league as well, while Fulham in 9th is looking good for England. Strasbourg in 8th, kind of a surprise. And Southampton's ahead of Bilbao. Southampton's having an absolute blinder. I mean, they're using that home field advantage. But it is time for us to find the final tally. How many league winners did each individual league have? How many teams got relegated? How many Champions League qualifying teams did they have? We'll head to France and start in Ligue 1. The champions? France defended its home turf, baby. It's Monaco. Monaco have won Ligue 1 in the scramble. Bologna finished second. Wolfsburg finished third. And I don't know how, but Dortmund fell all the way to 4th. But they did win the Golden Boot thanks to Niklas Füllkrug, who had a furious finish to the season. Monaco was led by Youssouf Fofana, who led the league in average rating. The teams that were relegated were Le Havre, Rayo Vallecano, and it would have been West Ham, but they won the playoff against Sochaux, who came up for the 2nd division to stay in the league. This means that France has a league winner, and it gets credit for 1 team in the Champions League, while Germany gets 2 Champions League teams with Wolfsburg and Dortmund. Bologna notches a Champions League spot for Italy, amazingly. And Spain and France get 1 relegated team each. Shout out to Holstein Kiel, though. They were supposed to get murdered. They finished ahead of Lyon. Now to Serie A, where we have maybe the most resounding championship we've seen. Tottenham on 97 points. So that's how good they could be if everybody was healthy. That's wild. Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and Barcelona rounded out the Champions League spots with a very disappointing 69 points. Nice. For Barcelona, Juventus somehow finished all the way down in 8th. They couldn't defend the home turf at all. But as we fast forward down to the relegation, we did not only have an English team win in Italy, we had an Italian team get relegated. Venezia and their wonderful kits went down in 18th, with Leganés from Spain and Angers from France also going down, which gives France and Spain 2 relegated teams, as well as Italy adding a first one to their tally. Germany gets credit for a 3rd Champions League team in Bayern Munich, while England gets its first Champions League qualifying team and league champion. It also gets a 2nd through Manchester United, and Spain gets a 1st through Barcelona finishing in 4th. We head to the Bundesliga next, where AC Milan has won the league for Italy. So we have 3 different nations that have 1 league winner in France, England, and Italy. Liverpool finished 2nd, PSG finished 3rd, and amazingly on goal difference, Fiorentina notches a huge surprise Champions League spot for Italy. That boosts France up to 2, England up to 3, and Italy up to 3, with AC Milan and Fiorentina making it. On the relegation side, we had a new country get introduced, Germany. St. Pauli did end up finishing in 19th despite a spirited effort. While France has had a team relegated in every single league, and this time it was Montpellier, with Italy getting Empoli relegated, their 2nd team. Empoli could have stayed in the league to save Italy, but they lost 6-3 in the relegation playoff against Schalke, who's coming up. Kylian Mbappe won the Golden Boot, of course, but Philipp Hoffmann from Bochum managed to finish 2nd. So going into the final 2 leagues, France leads the relegation table with 3, then it's Italy and Spain with 2, and Germany with 1. The top 4 race has Italy, Germany, and England all tied at 3, with Spain unbelievably just at 1, while France is on 2. On to La Liga, where we've had an absolute stunner. Aston Villa has won the league. They have stunned Manchester City, and the run-in was key. They beat Chelsea. They beat Manchester City 2-1 on the road. Las Palmas, Nice, Atalanta, Mainz, Hellas Verona, RB Leipzig 5-1, and then Angers 4-0. Manchester City, on the other hand, completely bottled it. They got 2 points from their last 3 matches and only 1 one of their last 5, a 6-0 against Angers. The good news for England is they had a league winner either way, which puts England at 2 league wins. England also gets 3 top 4 teams with Man City and Chelsea coming in to backdoor a spot. That means England shoots up all the way to 6. But Germany gets RB Leipzig, which puts them at 4 teams in Champions League contention. Now in the relegation zone, it's 2 teams from Italy, Como and Hellas Verona, with Angers keeping the streak of 1 French team getting relegated from every league. They were this one. Pretty clear gap between those 3 teams and everybody else too. Getafe 6 points ahead of them. Erling Haaland finished 3rd in the Golden Boot behind Luis Openda and Moussa Diaby though. So can't win the Golden Boot, can't win the league. Chokes. For the final tally, we go to the Premier League, and that's where we get a surprise tie for first place in league wins, because Italy, with Inter, has put together a 93-point season to win the Prem, with Real Madrid coming in 2nd on 90 points. This puts the final tally at England with 2 league wins, Italy with 2 league wins thanks to both Milan teams, and France with 1. Spain and Germany did not win a league. But Spain got some huge help, because not only did Real Madrid finish in 2nd, Real Valladolid finished in 4th, which lifts Spain off a paltry 1 to 3 teams making it into the Champions League. Italy gets 1 obviously through Inter, and Arsenal gets a spot for England, defending the home turf at least with a Champions League finish. Southampton and Nottingham Forest and Fulham were the next 3 teams behind Valladolid, so big missed opportunity there. In Strasbourg finished ahead of Bilbao. Maybe they just got homesick. Leicester managed to survive. They were in danger of being the only English team relegated, and instead it was Osasuna, Espanyol, and Lecce. Huge shout out to Saint Etienne finding a way to not get relegated despite the fact that they were by far the lowest odds to win the title. So the final tallies are as follows. The Champions League spots, England dominates with 7 Champions League qualified teams. Then it's Italy and Germany tying at 4 apiece. Then it's Spain with 3 and France with 2, but France did manage to win a league through Monaco. But I know what you're really here for, the relegation race. First of all, England didn't have a team relegated. West Ham won the relegation playoff, and Leicester had a nice run into the end of the season to avoid the drop. Then Germany only had 1 team get relegated, while Italy and France tied at 3, and that leaves Spain, who with a terrible performance in the Premier League, ends up with the most relegated teams with 4. No league titles for Spain and the most relegated teams. Not a good look. Does that actually mean anything? No, probably not. We literally spun a wheel to decide where all of these teams were going. Why are you assigning any importance to this at all? But it was fun. And if you want to see more fun stuff, you can watch a video where I locked said Kylian Mbappe from PSG on the worst team in Football Manager. And I might have done the same thing to Erling Haaland. It's also in that video. We needed a control group. You understand. I'll see you on stream.